I have
Great.
pressed one of the buttons.
Is it 2?
It's the second one from the top, but on the right-hand side.
Oh. Okay.
And then everyone goes silent.
Dun 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 dun.
And on that wonderful note of enthusiasm, hello and welcome to Cause and Effect. This is episode 33, entitled, and you can blame Ellie for this one, I'm pretty sure, Oghmentations. My name is Crash. I will be your DM for the evening, and I really want to leave that silence after I give the episode name in. This is a note to myself to put it back if I edit it out by accident. Tonight I am joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, Io, and Millie. What happened last time?
Things.
It's a mystery.
Well, the Sphere of Mysteries will be interested.
It's a different game.
Says you.
No, you don't want them. They're terrible.
I didn't tell you who's in the room next to
We had
you.
we had an interlude where there was plot.
That
Yes.
man got mad. Sorry.
Yes, but also there was purchasing.
Oh yeah, I didn't purchase things yet. I will let you know that when I can. Sorry.
Well, also, you have a present from A.
Ooh.
Yes. Everyone else was going into the consignment shop and buying things. A had some extra funds. Apparently, A has been finding tchotchkes and knickknacks. A insists that they are not stolen. A has found them.
Found them on people's pillows?
A has not specified where A found them, other than they were found around. And A's been getting a good deal on them, because Quentin likes to haggle, but when Quentin tries to haggle with A to get the price down, songs start appearing in Quentin's head. And they don't always have words that track with the music, and it gets really annoying. So Quentin just settles for paying A whatever A wants for the knickknack. Quentin has a lot of knickknacks to sell. They don't sell very well, but the collection is growing.
Does it keep him in a paddywhack?
You know what? That joke was mentioned. Ellie brought that up. It's a knick-knack paddywhack. Give the frog alone.
Oh,
I believe
good.
that was the punchline that Ellie referenced. But A has used this funding to acquire a gift for Chadrick. A also found the thing that A gave Mech, a great axe of intimidation. That's fun. But A found a whip called Whip of the Archaeologist. I have added it to your character. Whip of the Archaeologist +1. And if I pop this out and make it be larger so I can see it with my bifocals.
Oh, I see it, yes.
Yes, 3 times per day, you may use this whip to have advantage on any dexterity-based check or save. So not attacks, but like sleight of hand, acrobatics, anything that's dex-based. Or
Okay,
dex
but
saves.
wouldn't an attack with a whip be me checking my dexterity anyway?
It is worded this way on purpose. If you're using it as a weapon, you have +1 to attacks and damage. You're welcome. If you're using it for anything else, you have advantage. All you have to do is 1, not do this 4 times a day, just 3, and 2, you need to convince me how you are using this whip in the check. You have to convince me the
that
whip
right
would
out?
be useful.
Is that right out?
Well, if you can give a reason why the whip would be useful in a dance contest, you may use it to give you advantage on whatever roll you do in the dance contest if the dance is dexterity
You
based.
missed my joke. I said, what about 5? Is that right out?
Oh yeah, 5 is right out.
Okay.
If
Thank
you
you.
count to 5, the holy hand grenade will explode.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We are players of simple tastes. Monty
Just let
Python
me make-
references and the occasional Star Wars reference.
That's it. That's all the takes. That's all the tastes.
Also puns. All the puns. Every pun. Now, last session, you were also given your cohort quarters. Your cohort is still, if I check my notes, named cohort 15972. Most cohorts, by the time they reach your level, have given themselves a catchy name. For example, the Submarine Optimals.
And it seems calling ourselves time travelers would be the obvious theme, and maybe we don't want to advertise that part.
I think that we've just kind of pretended that we didn't have a name for too long.
Well, any paperwork you fill out, any request to complete a quest, any heading over to hand in a quest to get your reward, you have to refer to yourselves as cohort 15972 or they can't look up the record. And every time you do, Untitled Goose Cohort, thank you, Ellie. Every time you do, you kind of get a look from member services you still haven't put in. Okay. And then they just go about their business because it's not their business.
What if we pick a really, really random pop culture thing, but from the future? So we will find it funny, but literally no one else will.
Well, that is totally up to you and something for you to discuss amongst yourselves. Just like you will have to discuss amongst yourselves how you are going to furnish and divide up this 50 by 50 space that you now have in one of the upper levels.
I want a rocking chair and knitting needles.
You also said you wanted a locked bathroom.
Yes. Am I not allowed two things?
You are allowed multiple things. Whatever can fit in this 50 by 50 space. I believe there has been one request for a tabaxi tree. There has been
I'm drawing
one
a
request
tabaxi tree.
There has been one request for a charging station that could be in a corner so that it would be better, so that techs would be better able to keep an eye on the quarters and keep watch during the sleep cycle. And also the ability to nail things to a wall somewhere in a way that can be repaired.
Like glider nursery chairs. They're the most comfortable things on earth. I can sleep in that. And I can knit more baby Bjorns.
Okay, well, I linked the IKEA catalog, not a sponsor, and just said, hey, if you want to find furniture, here you go. $50 equals 1 gold, round up to the nearest gold.
A lot of gold.
That means a $200 couch should be 4 gold.
I have a lot of gold.
Yes, I'm not expecting, unless you decide to furnish this in stuff that is gilded, I am not expecting you to use your player housing as a gold sink. Unless you buy an actual gold sink.
Please do not buy an actual gold sink.
Nah, gold is not a very stable metal. Wouldn't be worth it.
I like how on the map, Chowder is just like in the middle of that 50 by 50 space. It's all empty and running around. Everyone else is just hanging out in the hallway. Because this map doesn't really matter for where we're moving around. It was just an easy map to load.
Mm-hmm.
And give you an idea of the space. It still has that new apartment smell where the carpeting is outgassing.
Phew.
I'm trying to be the that Windows screensaver.
Do we have any
DVD
windows in this
screensaver?
thing?
Mm-hmm.
You have no windows.
We're windowless.
There was talk of adding windows, and it was attempted for a few guild quarters, and there was an increase in residents deciding it was faster to take the 1d6 fall damage than to go and take the stairs like a civilized.
I mean,
Sounds like excitement.
These people did not always decide to open the windows.
Fair.
It was way more dramatic, especially for the people who were on street level, just walking by, going about their business.
we need a balcony eventually. We'll save up our gold.
Stairs? Are
So you
we
get-
upstairs or are we like in the basement?
You are upstairs.
Okay,
you are
I just
upstairs.
wanted to make sure before that whole balcony conversation.
You cut out again, so all I heard was the word stairs.
I wanted to make sure before, like, we tried adding a balcony only to be in the basement.
Like You want to add a balcony? Sure. Here's your pickaxe.
Hi-ho.
You dig
Is that
out
a
5
PNG?
feet into solid rock and then dig straight up.
That must be a PNG. It wouldn't have done a fix. Feel free to deduct the appropriate amount of gold for the thing that Hobby can be persuaded to settle for. Look, she really loves the tabaxi tree down in the thing. The main room.
There is tell of tabaxi who have just never come down from the tree.
Uh-huh.
Most of them were wizards who could cast, like, Magnificent Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like Hero with the muffin fight?
Concerning.
You know, I balanced on a very tall, tiny shelf while holding a muffin and fought an undead cow thing.
Oh, yeah, that fired a laser out of its chest.
Mm-hmm.
Undead cow thing with a laser?
It was
Man.
a different campaign in many ways, but also one that took place for a while on this very island before the Wall of Fire incident.
This was actively in the Oghmite Center.
Yeah. In the cafeteria. So Ellie has found an armchair. By a very loose definition of the word armchair, I would not consider the arms of that chair to be functional or comfortable.
It's minimal.
That costs $27,000, rounded down.
How about no?
See.
That is terrible.
I think Tex would still be able to afford it.
As long as you have 542 gold, yeah.
Most of you
afford
would
it.
be able to afford it. I do not recommend it. There are many better
No.
things that you can buy for 542 gold. Including, if I remember correctly, yes, uncommon magical items cost 300 gold.
I was gonna say a brand new car. That's all.
I don't think they have cars in this time.
Not yet.
Yet. Yeah, exactly.
Remember,
I'm sure-
you're on the island that is nominally run by libertarian Oghmentites.
All right, I don't think we
Run?
should have cars in this time and place.
Oh, Jen, hi.
You are absolutely right. You should not have cars in this time. You should also not have a Tarrasque on another continent at this time. However, these things are taking place whether you want them or not.
Hi, Jen.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Also, Millie's character is not allowed to buy a house to keep inside the 50 by 50 room.
It.
You can afford it,
gosh.
but you won't be able to keep it
It's a
here.
3-bed, 2-bath, 2,500 square foot single family house.
Math doesn't work that way.
Actually, that is 50 by 50.
Is it? Okay.
2,500.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Alright,
it's
I'm gonna be right
multi-story.
Multi-story. Oh my gosh.
Well,
All right, I'll be right back.
okay. So it's
You're
the, it's
upstairs.
the 10 feet.
The upstairs neighbors would be upset.
So. Also, don't forget about the attic.
Even if you told them, it's okay, you can use the bathroom also, they would still be upset.
I don't understand why.
Yes, but we'd have to crawl through the outside windows, which are now in our living room.
Yeah, our house in the middle of our house. Why is
And
this
our
confusing?
house. And our upstairs neighbor's house. That's where the attic is. The next floor up from that, there's someone who just has like a weather vane sticking up to their floor, and they're like, what? They keep forgetting it's there and trip
Okay.
over it. So you do have this 50 by 50 space that you can furnish. I have given you the pricing for furniture. Walls will not cost anything. Wherever you want to put walls, you can put walls. But for furniture, anything that you can find a price for online, $50 equals 1 gold, round up to the nearest gold, and it's now a you problem. However, you have another you problem, which is near the end of your last session, the plot had a Warforged named PT, who, and this is a very adorable hippo that would be murdering this person if it wasn't a baby hippo. Yes.
Chomp. No.
Yes, that leg would be gone.
Yes.
But as it is, it just looks cute. I say, where did you find my baby photos? This was my first attempted murder. Oh, yes. Brings back memory. The DM will now give himself inspiration for making himself laugh.
No.
Too late. I have marked it on my character sheet.
I hope it's on
Oh,
A's
no.
character sheet.
That'd be worse. That'd be so much worse.
No, A deserves to have an advantage.
A strikes in the night, but and attacks all of you, but A is a rouge, not a rogue, so you all wake up with makeup.
That's fair.
Even the tabaxi, it's on your fur. It's all the
It's
way
still
down
fair.
to the undercoat.
There's going to be such a nasty bit of having to wash this, but it's fair.
It tastes horrible.
This is why you steel yourself and you put your face in the warm water.
This is why you go to your sibling and say, "Prestidigitation now, Cavil."
Yes.
Anyway.
Do I need to prestidigitate?
The makeup. No.
Oh no.
Cavil also has rouge, but no one can tell.
Cavil was already rouge.
Exactly. Actually, you'd still be able to feel it on your skin, but no one can. It's like foundation, I guess. But in any case, PT gave you information about how you didn't really seal the deal when it came to eliminating all external threats to the future that you actually made cease to exist because of the changes you made. Specifically, you did successfully change the future so that JR does not end up being a god with an army of jurors subjugating the entire multiverse. So in that regard, you did great. The downside is JR early on had dealt with the singing monolith and the residents therein, the ultra-powerful liches that were basically made of nanites by now.
Unfortunately, we didn't deal with those. We just dealt with the monolith, and no one told us about the liches.
Well, yeah. And one of them wasn't home at the time. She had moved her phylactery elsewhere. And bright side, she destroyed what was left of the singing monolith. You're welcome. It did involve burning one entire plane of reality in order to do slight damage to another one, but over the entirety of it. No, Ellie, nanites are not tiny grandmas. You're thinking of nanaites. Yes. But the problem is, this particular lich, who goes by the name of Sclerora Springweather, who gave her that name, for crying out loud? Oh, wait. Moving forward. Possibly crab walking to the left, but never mind about that. Sclerora is somebody who spent untold eons as pretty much an apprentice. Imagine, if you will, spending eternity as an unpaid intern. That was Sclerora's life, or unlife, as the case may be.
And she's gone a little bit nuts from it.
Macronites, crow
Understandably.
moms. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Macronites. Yep.
You're just surrounded by a bunch of waist-high, black-feathered, mostly humanoid beings going, "Put on a sweater! Put on a sweater! Put on a sweater! You can eat! You can eat! You can eat! You can eat!
Put a sweater on. Put a sweater on.
Murder!"
Anyway.
How'd that one get in there? Teeth! Get that one out of here. Where we're going, we don't need rails. Dag nabbit. Okay, this chapter. Yes, Chadwick gets nothing. Chadwick already has inspiration. All right, so
You know that I'm funny in the real world.
the big bad of this campaign apparently is Sclerora. She spent
For the moment.
eons being repressed, not oppressed. She didn't go help, I'm being oppressed. She didn't ask for help at all. And she
just took advantage.
And she is amoral. And every time I say something about morality, I feel I need to specify morals are a personal sense of morals. Even goblins and orcs and ghouls and stuff will have some sense of morality where this is what is right and this is what is wrong. Even if you disagree with what they believe is right and wrong, they have their own sense and they stick to that. Sclerora has no morality. Whatever she feels like doing, whatever whim catches her fancy, she has no compulsion against doing it. Incredibly powerful, nothing holding her back. This can be a problem in a few hundred years. Well, that is what a sociopath is.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, presumably a sociopath who had a code of ethics and behavior and whatnot. But the problem is she doesn't have anyone who can actually smack her and say, no, behave in a pro-social fashion or else your own continued survival will be at risk.
A hears you say this and unrolls the newspaper to put it back.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice if we had a newspaper that would work for that, but that's what we don't have, and that's the sort of thing that Hobby would like to have, because when you have someone who takes people apart to analyze their blood alcohol levels and then puts them back together again, well, I'd like to recommend a book by T. Kingfisher called The Hollow Places, and it's a horror book, and we'll just go with that.
Many T. Kingfisher books are horror books.
And the others are cozy romances that only have a few severed heads as a plot point.
Add severed heads to taste. Wait, no, don't lick that. Don't lick that. Put it down.
No, they weren't being licked. Anyway.
I love that Io's the one who said too late.
Too late.
Good thing Smallest Kept doesn't actually have a tongue. They only pretended to lick.
I'm sorry. The discussion about morals and lack thereof made me think of Longcap.
There you go.
Longcap
Kappa would not lick a severed head.
But even Longcap has morals. Longcap has thoughts about how working together as a group improves the likelihood that Longcap will continue to be Longcap.
Mm-hmm.
Sclerora would not mind burning her allies.
I don't think that Longcap particularly has concepts of right and wrong in the sense that people mean when they talk about morals.
True, although there are a significant number of people out there who feel like morals mean something other than what they actually mean. Like, say, certain religions, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway.
Longcap has survival, and unfortunately Sclerora does not seem to have any concept of behaving in a pro-social fashion to encourage people not to get out the torches and pitchforks and hunt her down and smash her phylactery.
Yes.
Because, well, the obvious reasons.
And when you're made of self-replicating nanites, you're kind of hard to kill. That's the bad part.
It's a problem.
The good part is Sclerora doesn't come to full power for several centuries yet. So she's not unstoppable yet.
That's good, but also the bad part is this isn't her full power. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't her full power. Goody.
Also, PT suggested because it's so recent since she separated herself from the singing monolith, her techno-magic nature is not too far removed from what the singing monolith was. It changes over time, but right now they're very, very similar. So if only you knew some individuals who had been studying the singing monolith and might be able to devise some way of trying to track down what.
That would be the libertarian Oghmentites we mentioned earlier, wouldn't it?
Yes, that would be the
The
Oghmentites.
chocolate chip muffins, let's go. Also, they really like knowledge and learning things, and we can promise them knowledge.
No, we shouldn't
kind of-
promise them knowledge. We are not. We
A
had
shows
nothing
up.
to do with the fact that apparently.
A shows up and says, the knowledge will be, what have I got in my pocket?
No, the knowledge will be find out what the singing monolith does to people's mindsets.
I think
I
we
mean-
heard far too much about that.
We will give them an experiment.
Does it involve singing Baby Kobold directly into their brain over and over again?
Only if their name is Deborah.
Only if we have to.
A blinks at that.
But yes, I think that could also be a fun experiment. But we'd have to. Yeah, I think actually that one would be fun. I think that one.
Okay. Let's go do that. And A walks out the room.
Blink, blink, blink.
Where does A think he's going?
They.
They haven't.
A.
They.
All right.
Oh my
Wait.
god!
They have not.
Where does A think they're
Just the
going?
hallway.
I was watching Chadrick's icon move around the entirety of this abbreviated map.
I thought this was a wall.
You fell off the map.
No. You can't fall off. I could drag you off the map, but you can't fall off the map on your own.
Rude.
There
hey,
there
there's
is another room, but it's particularly funny that I colored the room black. I saw Hobby walk into it and just walk right back out again. Yep, Chadwick is in the black room.
I am here. I can still see the imaginary elephant. Ooh.
Yes, because you have blind sight, and because I have your character selected, I can see the characters light up when you get close enough to activate the blind sight.
Yep. I can
That's
see
neat.
all.
You can see all for 10 feet.
Better than most.
True. Also true. At one point, you see a grinning skull when you go too far into the...
Hi, friend.
Okay, what is the?
Hello!
There's this thing in the black room.
I'm pretty sure that's like the exit to the hallway. But Crash just put the wall there because the floor over here.
There is
like, I think
always a
it's
part
the
of
other way
every
around.
session called Let's Figure Something Out in Foundry. And in this case, you're figuring out the map that I made.
Yep.
There's no
That isn't
line
done
on
yet because you got to
checkers.
tell me what the walls are. But in any case, A
Look at
has already gone down the hallway and is heading for the stairs.
Follow the A.
Fine. Where's the stairs? Where are
They're
the
not on the
stairs?
map. We are now going to Theater of the Mind.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yes.
Dun,
So we're
dun,
You
going
can
down-
continue to run around the map if you want to. I know it's like a
Okay,
fidget spinner
cool.
to you.
Thank you.
But just know that canonically, you are not running around on a map of a 50 by 50 room with the surrounding hallways.
I am running.
Mentally, you
Down the
might be.
stairs.
Physically, you are not.
I'm running down the stairs like a bad cartoon.
Okay. A does wait for everyone to catch up to A. As a Rouge, A can move a lot faster than most of you because bonus action dash.
I just want to note that I can't seem to use Foundry. It's just been giving me a gray screen since the start.
We've done nothing of use in it.
So far,
Yeah,
you've
that's
done nothing
fine,
of use in it.
but it does mean I can't access my character sheet.
Now, the question is, did you have that tab in the forefront the entire time, or did you tab over to something else?
I tabbed over to Discord.
Okay.
That may have done it.
For some reason, today, and there was an update to Foundry. Today, if I tabbed out of Foundry while it was loading the map, it didn't load. I had to tab back and then let it sit while that was the screen in the front, and then it loaded.
Oh, okay.
So that might be the problem. And I am going to set another map that will be eventually useful to preload. So it won't load yet, but while we are doing Theater of the Mind, it should theoretically be loading in the background, so we don't have the gray screen problem for that one. All right, so A waits for you to catch up and says, we are going to the Oghmentite Enclave, right? We're going to ask them questions?
I mean, that's what I thought we would do.
Okay, because some of you seemed very confused when I said, right, let's go. Usually I'm not the lead.
Yeah, that was probably the thing I caught him off guard.
All right. So A continues to walk towards the Oghmentite Enclave, and I'm assuming you all follow.
Yep.
Okay.
I can't see it, but I'm assuming yes.
Okay.
I am assuming that certain discussions happened off screen, discussions that probably didn't need to happen, but...
As we're walking? Or
What?
Never
No.
mind. Okay.
No, I mean, after last session, since we skipped to here.
Yeah, we sort of left my conversation with Cogbucket on a cliffhanger.
Oh, right.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
I remember now.
Yes, that's an in-progress thing that is going to mostly be happening off camera until the exciting reveal part. Because otherwise you're watching Cogbucket go, let's see, the foot actually...
What if I wanted that in the background the whole time?
Using number 32 screws that are a fifth of a centimeter diameter. These
Here
are
we
a
go.
fourth
This
of a
is-
centimeter
this is what we're
diameter.
here
I need to
for.
get more screws. All right, I
yep.
just need to go to the store real
Cogbucket
quick.
ASMR.
Yes.
Yeah, this is
It's-
perfect.
Now, the good news is Cogbucket does not need to sleep. The bad news is this is still going to take a very long time. That's happening off screen. The worst of it is when two pieces are getting assembled and there is a squeaking sensation, not unlike fingernails on a chalkboard, that goes on for like 5 minutes as it's being fine-tuned. Cogbucket Senior can just turn off their hearing, so it doesn't bother them. So you arrive at the Enclave, and Kevin is there at the front desk. Kevin seems to spend a lot of time at the front desk. Kevin is told that it's not because Kevin is annoying and it's much easier to keep Kevin in a room by himself. Whether or not this is true has yet to be determined. Yes, that is something that is going to have happened off camera.
Okay.
Yes. Well, for now at least, we're going to say something happened off. Mo does not spend all of his time at Flag headquarters. Mo is trying to spend way more of his time with family, especially after what happened.
Sent some email.
Mo does not send email to his son.
No. Cavill sends email to Mo because
Oh.
Mo's spending time with his family.
Yeah. It's fantasy email. Mo opens up a book of shadows and sees a wonderfully written note, because Bard, all written out in prose. And, right, I need to go deal with something. Is it work again? Sort of. Is it patron stuff again? Yes.
Oh.
Who is the second character in that dialogue?
Almost certainly his wife.
Ah, okay.
Because I cannot do Morley's accent.
Oh, right. Yeah. That was a
Yes.
mix of accents. Yeah.
And also, Mo does not want Morley to have the slightest clue that somehow he got turned into a warlock patron.
Yes. Mo
Because it's
is
going to be, but Dad.
Mo is a patron of the arts, and so far as anyone knows, that is the excuse he's given anytime his son hears talk of patrons.
Of the arts. Of the
Oh.
arts.
And Morley would completely trust that.
Oh.
You know? Morley would.
All right. So Mo might be showing up in the near future, but assume for the sake of plot, EO, that what you have to say to Mo, you have sent to Mo, and then there will be a reaction. If you want to send me a DM of what that is, it doesn't need to be now, but I will better be able to craft the result of that with that information.
All right.
All right. With that said, you arrive. Kevin is there, and he appears to be eating a chocolate chip muffin.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
I knew it. I knew you
Yeah.
were a chocolate muffin.
For one,
hello.
not here to take the quest about fixing whatever experiment went wrong this time.
Oh, excuse me. Kevin has clearly started recovering from swallowing muffin down an air passage.
Oh no.
Don't breathe those.
Yeah, I really shouldn't. I tried to speak with my mouth full. My mom's always told me not to do that. But anyway, it's a good thing you're not here for that quest because it's not running right now. We've had a pretty quiet day. We've only had 2 minor incidents and 1 transmogrification. And we took care of that with a few bandages and a cardboard box.
What was the transmog into?
I wasn't told.
Oh. Do they have any boxes left over?
No, they just had the one. They keep it around for transmogrifications.
Okay, no sits.
I'm told sitting in the cardboard box is not allowed. You're not the first tabaxi to inquire. And if you insisted, you would have to sign a waiver.
I'll buy my own box.
We are here to ask about something that was being researched prior, actually.
Oh. Okay. And
I would say that it's one of the things that exploded, but I don't think that would narrow it down very much.
you'd have to give me a time of day, and that would narrow it down. But give me a second here. Kevin reaches on the desk and pulls out a book that it's a tome that, if you're looking at the pages, the cross section is about as large as his head. And he sets it down and he opens it up to about halfway and says, "Okay, so I'm in the explosions section. Give me more details."
Large.
Large. Okay. Bigger or smaller than this building?
Bigger, I think.
He flips about 100 pages over. Okay.
It was, I gather, the thing that when it went up, so did a bunch of magic items.
You mean the
It's gross
Griffin
much.
singing monolith, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
That voice
That's the
came
name.
from a gnome who just walked in behind you. She is carrying a paper lunchbox. Well, a paper lunch bag, rather. And she has a scowl on her face. She definitely is not happy that you have mentioned.
Apparently, the situation was worse than everyone thought.
I am not surprised. That thing was a problem since before it was discovered. I'm just glad there's no more ciphers all over the place.
Ciphers?
We do not talk about the CDs. One of them allowed a Tabaxi child to be able to speak an ancient language. He kept speaking in it.
That is kind
He
of
wouldn't
fair.
tell us what he was saying.
And he kept waving around a skeleton arm.
Oh, the skeleton arm was kind of normal. You should see the necromancy floor, but never mind about that. I mean, undead
But-
studies, not necromancy. Necromancy is not allowed.
Of course. But the reason we ask is we have discovered that there may have been more to it than originally thought, and it may have had a deeper effect.
Release the list made of nanite.
Of course it.
And so we
Why
thought,
wouldn't it release a lich?
So that undead studies floor might be people we want to talk to.
yeah, that lich keeps taking me apart all the way to like a atomic level and putting me back together and telling me how much of a BAC my bloodstream is.
To be fair, you asked.
Yes,
You did
but
ask.
she is extremely willing. I'm not saying it's that's like a horrible thing, but I'm just saying that that's the type of lich she is.
It was the most intense pain you've ever felt in your life.
But I did ask.
But you did ask. Oddly
So
enough,
I
it did
am
not
not-
work to sober you up.
But I don't
I am
think that
not
Drake
begrudging
asked.
the fact that she did it. I asked. It's more the fact that she was so readily willing and excited.
And the
Well-
Drake didn't ask.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah.
Well, as luck would have it, I might be able to give you some information. I'm the safety inspector for a particular research project.
That laugh
You
was
have
not
my
in character.
You have my extreme condolences.
I know, right?
Do you want a bouquet made of muffins as a sorry?
Kevin says, "We're all out until tomorrow morning. This was the last one.
Day I was gonna hand it to her right this second.
If you have a bouquet of muffins on you, I will be very concerned."
Well,
I will-
what do you think I spent
but-
all my gold on?
A house to put inside your house, I believe was the last suggestion.
Yeah.
By the way, in case anyone was not aware, the person you're speaking to is Bindle Brightlight.
Oh.
Nightlight.
No.
Bright light.
Nightlight.
Well, that is what a certain Kenku would call her. That Kenku is many thousands of miles away.
But her spirit lives on.
Because she's still alive. Yes.
Sometimes I can still hear her voice.
Even though you'd have to go to the nearest part of the continent and then she'd still be on the other side of the continent. Every now and then, you can still hear her voice. Murder!
Screaming at
Thief!
the sun.
Something like that. So Bindle says, "Come on, let's go. We're gonna take the regular elevator, not the explodey if you have a bag of holding one. Better safe than sorry."
I agree.
On your way there, Bindle continues to complain about all the hassles that are going on. Apparently, ciphers were showing up constantly a while back, before the Wall of Fire incident. She does not elaborate. They tried getting rid of them by doing a kind of carnival and giving them out as prizes. That went bad because if someone won too many ciphers, it animated a cotton candy machine and almost killed someone.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a thing that happened. And because of her constant complaining, she was not made project lead for this round of experiments. She was made the safety officer. But so many times per day, the project lead can just overrule her safety concerns. So,
Oh no.
well,
That's
yeah.
terrible.
9 times out of 10, she gets to say, "No, that's a horrible idea." And they have to not do the thing. 1 time out of 10, the project lead says, "Well, I will note your objection in the log. We're gonna do it anyway."
What do I
Ugh.
do anyways?
At which point it goes very badly.
Actually, not yet, which is part of the problem. Actually, that was the wrong character voice. Never mind. Actually, not yet, which is part of the problem because if nothing goes wrong, well, I'm happy because I'm the safety inspector. I don't want things to go wrong. But also, if nothing goes wrong, they start to think that I'm not necessary. And they
then
try to
more
ignore
things
me.
are
Yeah, and then things are more likely to go wrong. Yesterday, I had to tell them they weren't allowed to poke it with a stick.
See, that's why you gotta get a skeleton arm. Test you too. It's really resilient.
I am not letting any corpse material near it.
it. What are they poking again?
It's a fragment. when the singing monolith went poof, there were a few shards that were still floating.
I have a
And
question.
I might have an answer.
You might hate this, Crash. Does the singing monolith have a mind?
Not
I mean,
anymore, so far as you know.
But can I read its mind?
So, picture, if you will, a human brain.
Yeah.
Now carve out a small portion of part of that brain at random
Mm-hmm.
and put it in a petri dish.
Okay.
Think about how many thoughts that small portion separated from the rest of the brain will be able to convey.
I want to find out.
Well, you're on your way to the fragment, so you might.
I just wanted to know, because, like, I'm also, I can't get the psychic damage and all of that, so I thought I might as well try.
the GM is just looking at you through the computer. I can tell.
What is wrong with you? How about I do? Anyway.
Please don't go down the ladder!
How did I find the ladder? I wasn't even looking.
Okay, so you are taken down a flight of stairs. You are in Northeast Sub-Basement 4.
I realized that these are probably... Oh, up here are gnomes. Oh, man, I thought there was weird little tiny things running around on the floor. I'm doing so bad.
No.
They're just much smaller than our character squares.
Technically speaking, I'm a little weird character thing.
Like, look at the size difference.
Yep.
Hoppy
that
will
is...
prowl again.
Please don't.
She's not going to touch a thing. Carefully.
So there are a considerable number of bookcases. A full fourth of it is a hole in the floor that goes down another 10 feet. There is a ladder that heads down there, but...
I'm not going down there.
There is also a railing that goes around the whole thing. There is a swirly blue glow surrounding what looks to be a shard of obsidian. Just sort
and
of
a green
hovering.
circle.
There may be a green circle at the bottom, yes. The shard is hovering about a foot off the ground with the blue smoke going around it, and the blue smoke seems to be rising up out of the shard and into what could best be described as the hood that you put over top of an oven or a stove to suck out the smoke and filter that out. That is siphoning up the blue smoke.
Back here, I can't see the rest of the floor. I think I'm actually behind the bookcases.
Yeah, you really shouldn't be going behind the bookcases. Those aren't actually bookcases. I'm going to say those are control panels. There's a lot of levers and knobs and stuff on those. And there's two other people in this room besides the party and Bindle. There is another gnome who's dressed very much like Bindle, and they are the project lead. And there's also a human over by all the buttons and knobs and stuff who has mechanical arms and...
Here. Sniff, sniff, sniff. From a polite distance.
The human looks at you and says, Do I know you?
Do I? Can I do a history check?
You can give me a history check.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What have you been rolling?
Chadrick knows much about history.
Chadrick actually osmosed things while he was like sleeping in class.
That is a nat 20. Well, this was recent history. This wasn't ancient history or anything. You know this person
like
because you have
a historian.
You have met this person before.
Tell me more.
When you were researching the Warforged deaths, and you were fighting a Kenku named Clockwork.
Right.
They were being protected.
I remember this.
By a cyborg
right.
named Clonk, who was being controlled. They had no free will. You freed them. Now, the arms that they have are not the same ones that they had when you saved them. I believe they had tank treads for the lower half of their body before. They have actual legs now. But this is Clonk. They have an actual name. Their original name was Warbert Patterson. But
Which name do they prefer?
Well,
We don't know yet.
Apparently, both Bindle and the project lead are referring to him as Clonk. So, Bindle has referred to the project lead as Project Lead. So, for all you know, their parents named them Project Lead.
I mean,
It's
gnomes.
unfortunate.
Like naming someone Duke.
Yeah, that would track.
And then for some reason, they actually become a Duke.
Duke.
I am Duke Ellington.
Anyways,
Although they were the son of someone else named Duke. They were named after their father, who also was a Duke. So they are Dukeson.
The third.
They are not here right now. This is a libertarian society, not a monarchy. So, or a dukedom. So, in any case, you have Project Lead, who has a very nice plush chair, and Clonk is over by a bunch of buttons and stuff, and Bindle has just escorted you all in, and Project Lead is going, "What are all these people here for?" They're here to inspect our progress and see how awesome we're doing. Oh, great, wonderful! You get to see the next thing we're gonna throw into this stuff.
can I mind meld with the swirls?
Are you trying to read surface thoughts?
See, well, there are surface thoughts.
Okay. Give me wisdom.
Perceive? Can it be perception?
No,
Oh, wisdom's
it can be
actually-
wisdom. I believe
Oh.
perception is wisdom based.
I know,
But
but
this-
my perception is +8.
Yes. Well, you are not using eyes or hearing or, heaven forbid, taste to perceive
No.
things right now.
Oh, no.
No, I was too busy feeling really good about my history check. I think I'm going to become a historian.
What amuses me is the line is really muddled for everyone in this party except for A about what actually history is. You could be writing stuff down that's supposed to happen in the next few centuries, and people say, "What are you?" "I'm a future historian."
Historian.
And here's my
Is the
tabaxi
text
assistant.
magic telling? What is the text magic telling me about what's going on?
This room is full of it. Also, the project lead is full of it, but possibly in a different way.
You know what?
What
No.
schools of magic?
Hmm?
What schools of magic?
A lot of the magic in this room is divination, which, if they're doing study and
That
research,
tracks.
yes. There is also a lot of magic being used, and this is where my knowledge of the different schools of magic starts to break down because I don't play wizards, so I keep forgetting what they're called. But the shard is encased in some type of stasis where you almost want to describe it as an inverted tiny hut. That's not right. That's not what it actually is. But that it's kind of what it makes you think of.
Saying it's a house in the
Weirdly,
middle of a house.
most protective magic is abjuration. Tiny hut is evocation.
This is a mix of the two.
Fascinating.
Okay, well, oh my, we've got another nat 20 from Chadrick. On an Arcana check, what are you trying to figure out that I have very little knowledge of?
Build off.
Use your words.
I just thought it'd be funny if I was like, let me investigate that magic that that EO just looked into a little more.
With your Arcana check, you determine that
And figure out why, like, what is it that the shard, why is the shard so held up?
possibly because there is magic encasing it that prevents it from falling down. You can actually see the edges of where that magic stops because the blue smoke is being siphoned out, keeps bouncing up against it. So it does create a shimmering, almost potion flasky shape as it's getting funneled up into the vent hood. With your nat 20 Arcana check, you also determine that the green glow from underneath is almost certainly a pure aesthetic choice.
Those horrible people. Choosing
Don't
green
blame me,
circles.
blame the project lead. Right, so
Anyway.
for our first experiment, I thought I was going to throw what's left over for my lunch right in there. No! Okay, and I
You should
won't.
not. You should save the leftovers for other things.
I'll just save them for my attempt tomorrow where I'll try to throw some rotting leftovers in. That's a different thing. You'll have to say no to that separately. All right. So with that taken care
No,
of,
you use leftovers to bait the mice so that you can catch them, and then you have a much better snack.
don't give him ideas.
Anyways,
I already said no to live rodents and dead ones.
In there to have a snack.
Project Lead wants to feed the fragment.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
shouldn't.
Bindle points at Hobby while looking directly at Project Lead, going, huh? Huh?
I mean, I don't think that you want to try to grow them like those little crystals you put into a solution and then they make, crystal formations.
Oh, you don't need to worry about that. Its mass has not increased since we started study.
Well, have you
Everything
been
we throw
feeding it?
in, well, I threw what was left over from my juice box in there, and it spat out steam that was essentially pure H2O. It was steam because it's kept in a vacuum, so it boiled off instantly. We threw some coal in there. It spat out diamonds. We thought it'd be fun to do it again, so we tossed more coal in, and we got an inanimate carbon rod, which is now running from air.
Crafting table?
I don't think it's sophisticated enough to actually use it as a crafting table. It's more like an item purifier. Every now and then we get an anomaly where it actually spits out something that is not as purified as what we put in, but for the most part, we get exactly what we put in, minus the impurities. And you would think that if it still has those impurities in it, that I don't know who she is. Is that the one member of the Flag Adventuring Guild that runs around wearing the green tunic? He goes, yeah,
No,
breaks a
that's
bunch of
Link.
jars.
No, that's Link.
I'm pretty sure
Zelda's
that's
the one in
Zelda.
purple and pink.
Pretty sure that's Zelda. Bindle is face palming right now.
Regardless, not too important. It's just so it seems like it either compresses and purifies things, or maybe it's going to the weird lich zone and throwing things back that are a better value.
I mean, that'd be cool.
Has the amount of blue smoke stayed the same?
Well, it starts to die down if we stop throwing things in it for a day or two. I took a vacation and it stopped entirely on day 2.
Where's the blue smoke going?
I'll answer this one. We have a variety of stasis cubes that we can put things into. Basically, it's kind of like a bag of holding, but with a time stop spell attached to it. So what goes in just time doesn't move forward for it anymore. It can't do anything. Also, they can be very, very tiny. Here's one, and she picks one up off of a shelf of many others like it. Imagine, if you will, an Energon cube from the old Transformers cartoons, but the size of a 6-sided die.
I am very concerned that the blue smoke is actually particles. Particulate matter. It's probably trying to spread itself all over or something.
I have a very similar concern, which is why we're using these. and why it's kept in a vacuum. Somebody
Maybe
thought it'd be fun to use this as a waste disposal unit. Not naming any particular names, I still think it'd be a great idea. Think of how clean our sewers would become, and way less contaminated until the blue smoke took over everything.
I wouldn't want to breathe that.
We have gas masks.
I don't want
not
bits
good
of
enough.
I don't want bits of singing monolith in my fur, or my nose, or my ears, or my eyes,
or my lungs.
I mean, it seems like the smoke is essentially the things like poop, and I don't want that on me.
Oh, I bet it's worse. I bet that after it gets a significant deposit, it starts just eating in and making more of it until it grows
I
back
don't
into
like
a
that
monolith
reason.
again. I bet.
I told you, it's perfectly safe. It has not increased in mass this whole time.
That's because
Also, you keep having to shove more into bag of holding cubes of holding.
That is a way of looking at it. Yes, cubes of holding. That's not what we called them, but actually we should probably call them that. We have a way longer name, and it doesn't actually spell anything in the acronym. Because you wanted to keep using letters from the middle and end of words to get it to be something original. I still think that was a good idea. But besides the point. If we measure...
I'm just saying that we can get enough of them, it'll start turning itself into its own singing monolith again, I bet.
Well, the ones in the cubes can't because time for them has essentially stopped. So they can't do anything. They're in there forever unless someone comes in and uses it to spell magic on this place, and that'd be really bad. Don't do that.
Don't talk to us, talk to the Lich.
Oh, great, it's working. So to my comment I put in chat, can my Arcana check from before continue to help me look at the blue smoke poop?
It's more like the blue smoke farts, if you really want to use that particular metaphor.
It's outgassing.
The poop is purified items, but the blue smoke is the gas.
To the rusty dragon?
The rusty dragon was the rust drake, to use the terminology that everyone else is using, and that was on the character sheet. But you can call it the rusty dragon if you want. Drakes are not as advanced as dragons, so calling it a dragon is giving it a promotion, and it wouldn't mind. Dragons would be concerned. Monty would like to have a few words with you.
But yeah, so the thing is that I'm wondering if it's similar in the fact of this thing was going towards iron and then becoming covered with rust, and this thing is eating up rust and turning things into pure things. Actually, is there a similarity?
Actually, what was happening with Rusty, which is not actually their name, but that's what a lot of us have been calling them. Rusty just needed more iron in their system in order to function the same way that you need proteins and carbohydrates. And pure iron, they couldn't digest, but iron oxide, it could break that down into something usable. So that's why it was going after rust. We found out that
the Lich was the thing that was causing Rusty to be rusty.
That's bad.
Right. Yeah, so that's why I'm bringing it up as we discovered that this Lich who is connected to this stone has been causing Rusty to be rusty. And so therefore, if this thing is also oxidizing rust and making pure things, and it's also connected to the same Lich...
I mean, is this connected to her, or just similar?
It might be connected to her. It might be connected to something she was connected to and no longer is. The reason we came
here is because she is connected to the singing monolith, and this is part of it.
Well, she disconnected herself from the singing monolith.
But once upon a time.
Yes, but once upon a time. But I want to make sure it's clear that she's not still connected.
Yes, but it was not a very recent... It was a very, very recent past for a Lich.
Yes.
Where's her phylactery?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
How should I know?
I wonder if we... Well, we've got this thing. Her phylactery is probably made of the same stuff.
Yes, that's why we're here.
Oh, so you're not here to see how our progress is going. You're here for a quest.
And we thought that
Maybe
you'd like the
both.
knowledge from it so we could talk about it.
Huh. Well, I
Also,
can
I'm
tell
kind of
you.
concerned that the phylactery might be made of blue smoke.
Uh-huh.
That's bad.
I'm sure it's made of blue smoke.
It's horrible.
She's made of
I
blue
can't
smoke.
believe that would be taking place. That would be a tragedy of immense proportions. How would we study it? Because we don't know
Actually-
where it is.
We need one of those cubes.
An empty one, maybe.
An
No.
empty
Maybe one
one,
both.
Object, the blue smoke.
By the way, Bindle does not wait for you to say one of the empty ones before she very forcefully says no.
No,
Empty
no, no,
one.
no, no. We don't need a full cube. I mean, phylactery made of nanite. If the phylactery is frozen in time, she wouldn't be able to regenerate.
That's true.
Except she's still made of blue smoke herself. So if it's
the
frozen in time, it's
phylactery-
not destroyed.
If the phylactery is some type of miniaturized version, I would hope miniaturized, of the singing monolith,
Uh-huh.
it's a type of extra-dimensional space.
Ah.
You see the problem?
All right, yes, let's not do that.
Yes, because we have not studied. Do not get any ideas. She swings and points a j'accuse finger right at Project Lead.
Objection!
Yes,
Uh-huh.
we haven't done any testing on what would happen if we put an extra dimensional space inside an extra dimensional space with time stop applied. And I, for one, intend to be anywhere else when someone attempts this.
Wouldn't it go into the ethereal realm?
Well, that's what happens when a normal extra-dimensional space goes inside an extra-dimensional space. They, not the ethereal realm, but the astral realm. That is where they go.
Right.
But now we're talking about time dilation.
It would take forever to get there?
We don't know. And as much as I, as a fun-loving Oghmentite, love to learn new things, I love to learn new things and live.
You'd like to
Are
learn them
you-
from a safe distance. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. That's I was going to ask, are you the only one who wants to be
All the
aware of
boring
dangers
ones
and
do.
stuff? Got it. Meanwhile, Mech's been staring at the blue smoke just because it's there.
Yeah, it's not hypnotic in a way where I'm gonna make you roll for it, but it is it's like one of those looping gifs that you just keep wanting to stare at because it's a looping
Yep.
gif.
That's what she's doing. Also, some of her has a blue color, but I think we would figure out a
Is
long time
food
ago it's
coloring?
not.
It's aerosolized
It's
food coloring.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. There is a little device inside of you that has a liquid reservoir, and it aerosolizes it, not unlike the humidifier that is directly behind me right now. And then sends it through some pipes, and then it collects in the reservoir again. This is something that Cogbucket discovered when inspecting you for your memory stuff. And it amuses me that I was able to keep that secret for that long. We have a
That's
19 of
Try to intimidate
Intimidation.
the shard.
who are
I
you
wanna try-
attempting to intimidate?
The shard.
The shard does not appear to be affected by your intimidation attempt.
I was hoping to see if it would react at all.
It is possible that the shard is unable to perceive you, in which case the intimidation would not work.
Boo.
We are not giving the shard perceptive abilities. I think that would be bad.
Well,
Please do
wanted
not
to make
taunt the
that
happy
it's not
fun shard.
perceptive. I am checking to make sure that it cannot perceive.
You're checking to
If
make
it
sure it can't
suddenly
perceive
has-
by threatening it.
Well, I thought that was the fastest way.
You already have inspiration, so you can make me laugh as much as you want. Right.
You know, if it can perceive, then we have to definitely move us out here. We need to move ASAP. And if it can't, as it seems to not be able to, then we don't.
This is
Not that we don't have to move fast, but like we're not like in danger. She's not like spying on us through it.
Mr. Lead is furiously writing down what you're saying. Interesting. Cannot perceive threats. Question mark? Right. I think I know what I'm going to propose next. Oh, dear Ogma, what? Well, it can't, in theory, or hypothesis at this point, let's be honest, perceive threats. I was shaking in my boots over here, so, that was a good threat. But can it perceive action? The assault
Camera?
it doesn't perceive, but what about the battery? We are not electrocuting it again. That's not what I mean.
We're not hitting it either.
No,
I'm
you're
not
not.
touching that.
No. We need to do this from a safe distance. There might be
I
shrapnel.
am not touching that with my mystic hands.
I wasn't going to ask you to.
Good.
If
I don't
you're-
think you should either.
If you're talking about mage hand, you just be able to like give it a back massage or something, and everyone would feel awkward, especially everyone watching. So also, it doesn't have a
You're
back.
saying you want me to cast Eldritch Blast?
No, I
No.
don't want you to
No.
risk breaking containment. We gotta save all this blue smoke for study later.
So I was thinking that
All right,
maybe
good.
this might be a
It
really
sounded like you were going to ask someone to shoot magical projectiles.
No, we
This-
don't really want to study how it reacts to a bunch of magic yet. We're still doing mundane things. We're gonna work up to magic later. Because
So this might
somebody overruled me. Mm-hmm.
This might seem a little stupid and dangerous, but you said that it
I'm
likes
all
to
ears.
take and like especially like I don't know, like this iron dagger that I have, and then poop out a nicer one.
Well,
No, it'd probably
it
just
would-
poop out.
it would give us a purer form of iron that you could turn into a dagger, but what would come out would not be a dagger.
That's okay.
Almost certainly.
So the thing though is that does it seem to react when you're about to throw an object in?
Well, never before, but we were just like giving it like coal and a juice box and
Dangle
random
the
garbage,
dagger.
paper.
I kind of want to dangle the dagger like in front of it, like and see if it swirls more at all.
So
You want to see
where
if it gets
it
hungry.
is, you are 15 feet away, not including the 10-foot drop. Well, 9 foot. It's a foot off the ground. Do not go down the ladder. I have a way better idea.
What's your idea?
Project Lead goes over to this particular set of controls and pulls a few levers. And, well, we had these put in place for containment purposes just in case. But I think that we can also use this to gain a lot of information.
What is? I want
They
to know
lift
exactly
up a
what's happening
cover-
first.
They lift up a switch cover and flick a switch, and then a panel opens up in the ceiling, and a ballista just sort of falls down 3 feet and then stops.
Why is there a ballista?
Because this isn't what I'm trying to do. What I was trying to do and see if prolonged thing in front of a thing that it eats causes it to react to it. Like, does it have wants? Is it aware?
That's exactly what I'm attempting to study. We will see if
With
it
a
wants
ballista?
to.
Yeah.
We
With a
will see if
ballista.
it wants to not be shot by a ballista.
No, I think it might not have
I think that's
fear,
a generalized
but it
thing.
might have
Most
a
people
want.
don't want to be shot by a ballista, actually.
Because
yeah.
I
Yes.
just intimidated it and it had 0 reaction, which it should have had a negative one, but maybe it'll have a positive reaction if we give it a positive thing.
I tried giving it a chocolate chip muffin too. I mean,
Maybe
it
it doesn't
turned the
like
chocolate chip muffin into some soil. I gave it to the
Only thing
agriculture
to do is-
department.
I feel like that might be a bit concerning, but I suppose so long as all the blue smoke is contained.
But also,
It was
were you
in one of the
react-
stasis cubes. Yes, they thanked us for the stasis cube that they're able to use as a paperweight.
They are pretty.
They are.
Did you, what's the word? Were you keeping track of like the speed of the swirl or like how much swirl there was every time that you held something it wanted in front of it?
Project Lead looks at you and then waves a hand at all the knobs and dials and readout things on the control panel next to them and says, a little bit.
Can we see what the results were?
Well, that's
13.
a 13 Insight check.
Yeah.
All right. So Project Lead goes over to one of their notebooks that is actually still out on their desk, not on a shelf somewhere. And they grab it and say, well, here's the latest round of results. And they flip it open, and it's a ledger. And with that 13 insight check, you notice no discernible difference between baseline and incentive.
I don't think it's sapient.
I perceive any sort of patterns.
Patterns repeat.
I don't understand what's going on, but can I perceive the patterns anyway?
Yes, you perceive the pattern of it doesn't do anything to anything in its stasis chamber unless the thing is pushed over to touch it. When it touches it, then it does something to that thing.
That's fair.
You don't need to read Gnomish to understand that the numbers on one side are the same as the numbers on the other side.
With a crit fail, maybe I do.
We should say for the recording, Javi got a crit fail on this. You are aware that
looking at it.
you are aware that there is a coffee stain on this page. Smells like hazelnut blend.
So sad that coffee just never actually tastes as good as it smells, from her tabaxi opinion.
Having a cup of coffee
Smells
is one way to make sure Socket will not attempt. That is one of the few beverages that he will actually.
Sensible kitty.
Yeah, basically, I don't really have much else to add at this moment. I just thought it'd be a good idea to touch base with you because this apparently is now an important thing in our trying to not cause things to die campaign.
That is a noble cause, and I wish you the best in your endeavors.
Please
With
let
that
us know
said,
if you discover
pull the
anything cool
lever,
with it.
Clank!
I really think you should be trying to throw a ballista at it. It hasn't reacted to anything else.
It's fine.
Anyway, Clonk blinks a bit and says, "Did you mean me?"
That is your name, isn't it, Clink?
No. No, it's not. I don't mind being called Clonk, but that's not my name.
Pull the lever, Clonk!
Okay. Clonk pulls the lever. The ballista fires straight down into the shard.
That was bad.
There is the rattling sound of some bits of iron and chunks of graphite just sort of hitting the bottom of the stasis chamber. So they're still off the ground and sort of settling into the bottom part of that partial.
Watch the blue smoke.
There is a bit more of it, but even Bindle... Well, sorry, that's a lie. Project Lead does not seem to be concerned by the increase in blue smoke. That might be that this is normal. Unexpected results are what really excite Project Lead.
Eo's dancing.
I'm trying to zoom out. I'm trying to zoom
Unselect
out.
your character.
Doing that instead.
Click and drag on a spot that has no characters to unselect your character, and then you should be able to zoom out.
I prefer to think that Campbell's dancing.
Campbell is not dancing. Campbell
The
is
GM
not.
has done this many times, where the GM wanted to zoom out, but instead the GM made a significant number of angry monsters do a synchronized dance routine for everyone's enjoyment.
I just like I'm listening and I just am like wee like watching.
So Project Lead does not seem super excited because this seems to be old information. Bindle may have a few gray hairs that weren't there before because she realizes that she forgot to say, "No, you're not doing this," before a ballista was fired at the fragment.
Apparently, it ate a ballista bolt.
Bindle is breathing into their paper lunch bag.
Oh, that's why they carry it.
Yes. a Reuben sandwich for lunch based on what's being outgassed from the bag, because their lunch is still in it.
Also fair.
But I realized that both Javi and Cavill have more HP than me. I have
How
the
did
least
that
HP in our party.
Your party
Are you a
healer.
paladin?
I'm the paladin.
You're
How
you're
did you
the
not?
because Chadwick was made as a joke.
Oh,
that is
true.
actually the entire reason. You're right.
Yes, Chadwick was made to be funny. Hence the name Chadrick.
Me cool guy.
Yes.
Now, you definitely shouldn't have less hit points. And so you have a bigger hit die than I do, and your constitution is higher. Your hit point number is wrong. That's what's going on.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Have you been taking static hit points instead of max?
I have no idea.
Then you've been taking static hit points because you have to
Gotcha.
actively do that. So your hit die is a D10, and you have
Yeah.
8 levels, so that's 80 hit points, which is already higher than what you have
More.
listed. Plus your Constitution bonus plus 3, so 3 times 8.
24.
So 80 plus 24.
104.
That's how many hit points you should have.
Okay, I did it.
Yay! We
I
got
was so
there.
concerned. I'm like, wait a second. This is wrong.
Yeah, if we didn't have that house rule, because believe it or not, I actually don't want to kill off my party members. The incident with a certain 7-foot tall tabaxi child was a fluke.
who did you kill?
Almost
Almost
killed Hero.
But
Oh
but
My
Millie
first
kept insisting that I
time.
did kill Hero because there were death saves involved. Death saves don't mean dead.
No, they don't.
No. Rat Breath died.
Right,
And so did Talia, briefly.
right.
no. I mean, briefly dead is just a thing.
Yeah. Killed by her own summoned demon.
Yep. I remember that.
Yes. I also remember when Harubin mentioned, like, it could be worse. You could have been killed by a demon you summoned yourself. You didn't. I will murder you. You didn't.
Oopsie.
If I die from laughing at this, it'll be a good death.
Today is a good day to die laughing?
Pretty
Anyway,
much. Anyway, how do I get Cavill to be... There we go. Cavill is now right side up and aligned properly.
Thank you.
So, Bindle is hyperventilating. Project Lead is taking notes saying, no unexpected reaction. Smoking to 5%. Over norms. Output reduced by 0.0001 grams. All right. So, on to the next experiment. What else you want to throw in there?
I don't think we should be throwing things in there. I think that making more blue smoke is kind of a toxic hazard.
Yeah, what if it gets so pressurized in there that it explodes?
We trade out for...
Oh, and you would make it so that way none of the blue smoke got out?
That's their theory.
If Bindle wasn't still hyperventilating, she would inform you that that is exactly why we have this whole apparatus, which took us several weeks to create. Waste of
And good
resources.
thing. No, I think that if you were breathing in the blue smoke, it would probably eventually start eating you to make more blue smoke so that it could accrete a new mountain.
I mean, that's what the vacuum hood is for. But like all the stasis chambers and all that stuff, we could have been studying constantly what it does as an air purifier. Think about it. The air touches it, it gets purified. The air in you would actually be cleaner.
Except for it starts trying to purify you into your component parts.
You think it would?
Yes.
I haven't been allowed to throw anything living in yet.
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Bindle
It's
is raising a finger to talk, but still has not removed the bag from her mouth.
Got something to say, but can't say.
Bindle is very much aware that a significant number of the people in this room are astute enough to understand the point she is attempting to make while still hyperventilating. She seems to be calming down a little bit.
I'm going to guess that Mr. Lead, however, does not pick
Does
up on
not
the point she's trying to make.
Oh no, Project Lead is a very intelligent gnome. Project
Just
Lead
has no
does
concepts.
Project Lead has different opinions on OSHA regulation.
Project Lead, Intelligence 18,
Or-
Wisdom 3.
Technically, NOSHA regulations, Gnomish OSHA.
Right.
Oh, right.
Gnosha.
Yeah. Or,
OSHA.
if you wish,
Bless you.
Augmenite OSHA, which would just be OOSHA.
Usha. Well, it's could be, Gnusha. Sorry.
The problem with Augmenite OSHA is you still err on the side of, but will we learn something from it? Cobalt OSHA is more along the lines of, but will a responsible pyromaniac come over and explain to us what we did wrong? One of those two philosophies prevents a lot of things from happening. The other one requires a lot of cleanup, which is why there's a long-standing contract with the Flag Adventurers Guild. By the way, I love everything about it, in
Good.
case you were wondering. Including the part where Clonk is pointing at the stasis chamber and saying, that's new.
Oh no, what's it
Project
doing?
Lead looks up from what they're writing and,
Ooh, this is fascinating. This has not
Oh,
happened
no.
before. Fragment
What?
mass increased by 0.000000001 grams. Amazing. Oh, let me erase one.
You threw in so much mass that it had to accumulate it itself instead of just outgassing it to more mountain seeds.
Project
Continuing
Lead
to
is
grow.
trying to scribble out multiple zeros.
It's still growing. It's still growing.
It's fine. It hasn't
is
reached
it?
a gram yet.
That is not fine.
That's
It's still growing.
Bindle?
Run.
Clonk moves away from the control panels.
How much?
You're the safety expert. What?
I'm running out of the room.
Chadwick realizes that somewhere in this building there is a bathroom. Wait, look, when you have to go,
Bindle, how much mass can it get before it breaks containment?
Bindle is still breathing into the bag. I was waiting for you to walk into that room and decide, nope.
Where can I be?
I cast heroism on Bindle. No more frighten.
we should go now.
I have the right idea, guys.
There is a shattering sound.
Obviously not enough. Great. If A is not running for the door, then should pick up A on
I'm
her
pretty sure
way.
we picked up A. Let's be honest. A's on my back.
True.
Let's be honest.
That's an
It
excellent
looks
question.
angry.
Well, it doesn't look.
It's a
Well, it does look pretty, but it doesn't look happy.
It's pretty. It seems to have a weapon.
It does appear to have a weapon. It does
Uh-oh.
appear to be getting larger. I am going to share character art with you
Wow.
as soon as I can find the character art.
it's okay. I can see the icon. I zoomed in.
He says as he leans away from his.
We can still hear you.
I was looking in the friendly NPCs folder. It's not in the friendly NPCs folder.
No, it's in
No,
the
the card's
unfriendly
not friendly.
NPCs folder.
It's in the folder labeled baddies. These are beings who don't stop to ask, are we the baddies? They just know.
I'm
And they
going
don't
to
care.
through the window as I run around trying to find a bathroom.
There are no bathrooms in this sub-basement.
I noticed. Messed up.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
It's a being of some kind.
There is blue smoke rising up off of its sword. Its sword might in fact be made of blue smoke. There are also whiffs coming out of its open helm. Not Space Jammer helm, but head helm.
Right, right.
We have learned recently that those are different root words. Thank you, Ellie. There is blue wisps coming out of its helm. They seem to be more contained than what is coming off of the sword. And Cavil has made 2 attack rolls with Eldritch Blast already. I love this.
I mean, one casting of Eldritch Blast is 2 attack rolls.
I got a 15 for my history check.
You ain't never seen
I got a
anything like
16.
this.
Okay, so I'm
Um,
gonna hide just out of sight so I can cast rebuke the moment things go down.
Things are going down because somebody decided the best defense is a brilliant offense. Well, assuming Eldritch Blast gives off a light. I never really stopped to check.
I don't know.
So a 20 Eldritch Blast will hit.
To do 7 damage.
What kind of damage?
Force.
Force. Let's see. Is it immune to force damage? Only if you're a Jedi. It's
What if you're
immune to
Sith?
Jedi damage. If you are a fallen Jedi, then it takes half damage.
What if you're never
And
were a
if you're a
Jedi?
Sith who has decided that if the Sith has just decided they're going to levitate you because that's what they always do, it takes no damage because levitation doesn't do any damage.
Right.
And now that I'm done giving a reference to another campaign, mark that off on the bingo card. You said 7 damage?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not 5.
Just 2.
It is
What a
not
weird
at
modifier.
5 damage. It has higher hit points than that. Okay, I have marked off the damage that took longer than it should have. All right. So you cast Eldritch Blast. Your Eldritch Blast hits it. You're certain it has done something, but it doesn't flinch. Instead, it jumps up to here. So not the middle of the room, but the middle of the empty. Now, you said that you were going to be carrying A on your back, Chadrick?
Yeah, A's on my back.
Give me a grapple check.
How do I do that?
Give me a strength or dexterity roll.
Oh wait, I do have a grapple button. Except no.
No, that's for
okay,
if you hit a
so
creature.
So you said a strength?
Strength or dexterity. And remember, you have a magical item that helps you with dexterity.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing
rolls.
the dexterity one.
Okay, explain to me how you use your whip.
I pretty much grabbed the little, kitty backpack that I put on him.
Oh, A does not wear that in public unless forced to.
Okay, fine. But I loop it around A's waist. So I can just
All right.
zoop him
Give
onto
me
the shoulders.
Give me a dexterity roll at advantage.
Ability check?
Yes.
18.
A does not go willingly, but is like, no, we gotta stay in. Okay.
Okay, think about this, A.
The okay is said while A is airborne being pulled behind you.
When A is on my back, I'm like, A, so the thing is, we can totally jump back in and help, but let's actually, survey the situation before we let the thing get the first attack on us.
Technically, it didn't get the first attack. That was Cavil.
Yeah, but what do you think it's going to do in a response? Probably an AoE attack. But if you stay out here, you can sneak back in and sneak attack it, and I can just rebuke it from back here, and neither of us will get hurt.
Okay, but I don't think it's going to be an AoE attack. There's no giant red circle on the ground.
Yet.
Chadrick does have a point.
Yep.
All right. Now, before we roll for initiative, we're going to end it here for you. Because the recording is over 2 hours already. I know it's got to be less than that. And we are not starting combat now.
No.
Okay.
Probably a good idea.
Yes. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone for playing. Tonight I've been Crash. I was joined by Beth, Ellie, Io, Millie, and Jen. Who wants to plug a thing?
Use Mom Writes Books at elizabeth-mccoy.com. And furthermore, since they're ebooks, if you have a local library, you can say, local library, please look up Elizabeth McCoy on Overdrive, the Overdrive catalog, because she really ought to be there and her books ought to be really cheap. So you could buy one and then you can check it out from the library via the Libby app. And it'll be totally free to you, but I'll still get paid and I will be so happy. And lots of people will be able to read it for one purchase at the library.
Can
And speaking of
confirm.
books.
Can confirm there are a ton of books by Elizabeth McCoy in my Libby app for my.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's
But don't search the library for Elizabeth McCoy. That's the website.
That's the one.
Yeah, it is.
Learn from my fail. Anyway, speaking of books,
My website is Book of Jen. It does have book reviews at the top as I've been slowly going through my giant collection of books. It's also got a whole bunch of other stuff in there as well, including a lot of Diablo stuff. So if you like that, you can check that out there. I'm slowly putting up videos from Diablo 4. Also, I'm the host of the Shattered Soulstone podcast, which usually comes out every Saturday, but I've been too sick to do one this time around, so you'll find it when you find it. It's at shatteredsoulstone.com.
And speaking of finding things, I guess?
speaking of websites,
Web, like, where's
Yeah.
the keyword? Where's my keyword? Anyways, I run elek.xyz, that's ELEKK.xyz, which is part of the whole Mastodon systems of Schrodinger's federated websites, where it's a bunch of cool people who aren't hateful towards others, who just like to talk about games and other nerdy things. What a concept for the internet.
Speaking of people who like games and other nerdy things?
well, that's us, and you can find more of our podcasts at ironbsmith.com. I almost forgot the name of my own website, /cogwheel. You can find all of our podcasts there. You can subscribe to them for free. And if you like what we do and wish to help us break even, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. You can help us keep the lights on along with other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Shen, Walter, and patron emeritus, Cindy. And until next time, this is Crash saying, power overwhelming. Good night, everybody.
Itty bitty living space.
Wrong reference.